Good morning. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get stuck in a bad mood? Someone cuts you off in traffic, someone says something you don't like, someone doesn't answer your text quickly enough, the weather is lousy, and hours later you're still replaying it in your head? Well, what if you could change all that in 30 seconds? I know, it sounds impossible, but it's not. So, what if there was a way to stop that spiral before it takes over your day? My spiritual mentor taught me something years ago called the 30-second rule, and it completely changed the way I relate to negative feelings. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how this one simple rule can help you stop feeding your frustration. This frustration, that's my Elverfoot impression. Quiet your mind and take your happiness back without pretending everything's fine or suppressing your feelings. This video is a game changer, so stay with me, Elverfoot or not. You're not going to want to miss it. So, 35 years ago, when I first heard the 30-second rule from my mentor, Julian, I was talking about how bothered I was that my mother, after all these years, had started calling me affectionate names, especially baby doll. I hated that. When Julian asked why it bothered me, I said, because she never called me that as a child when I actually needed to hear it. Now I'm in my 40s and she's acting like I'm 6 years old. I don't need it now. I needed it back then. Well, Julian smiled and said, have I ever told you the 30-second rule? I said, no. And he explained, well, it goes like this. With the exception of loss or a crisis, the first 30 seconds of any negative feeling has legitimacy. And after that, it's all ego. What? Oh, I did not like hearing that. What is he saying? I can't have these feelings for more than 30 seconds? I think I said, well, Julian, I deserve to have these feelings for more than 30 seconds. I've got plenty to be irritated about, especially with my mother. You see, at that moment, I wasn't interested in letting go of my irritation. Oh, no. I felt justified. Hey, I've had these feelings a long time now, and I have a right to them, especially after all I've gone through. And there it is. That's the ego's favorite place to live, in justification and entitlement. And because of that, it keeps us stuck in old feelings so we can't move on, we can't forgive, and we can't let go. And I was a perfect example of that. But as always, Julian was right. So here is what the 30-second rule really means. The 30-second rule isn't really a rule per se. It's a rule of thumb. It's a guideline for us to follow. And what it says is this. Every negative emotion has some importance at first because it comes to tell you something that's going on inside of you. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm disappointed. Good, 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 good. Now you know what you feel. That's the value of the first 30 seconds. It helps us to know what it is we're feeling. And that's it. But after that, after those 30 seconds, when that feeling hangs on, builds a case and starts looping in your head, that's your ego keeping you from being happy. And when I use the term ego, I'm talking about the part of us that wants to be right, doesn't feel good enough, needs to feel safe and in control all the time. And it's the human part of us that lives from fear instead of love. So we'll call it ego for now. So one thing I've learned about our ego is that it is absolutely in love with drama. It feels alive when something is wrong. It gets excited when there's tension or a disagreement or something that will cause us to react in some way. And peace, well, peace feels like death to the ego because nothing dramatic or exciting is happening when you're peaceful. But this doesn't mean that our ego is bad. It's not. It's just really scared. It believes that if you stop feeding it your outrage, your hurt, your shame, your guilt, that it will literally die. That's what it believes. It believes it will disappear, so it convinces you to hold on. It wants you to keep that unhappy story going because that's how it thinks it stays alive. But here's the real truth. Other than loss or crisis, because those are processes we have to move through, other than that, there is only one reason you are ever bothered or unhappy about anything, and that is this: that something isn't happening the way you want it to. And let me repeat that because it's so important. The only reason you're ever bothered outside of loss or crisis is because life isn't going the way you want it to. Someone cuts you off in traffic, the grocery line moves too slowly, your spouse loads the dishwasher wrong, the world is a mess, someone didn't return your phone call. These are all different stories. But the ego uses this to tell you, hey, this shouldn't be happening, so you need to be upset. But here's the thing. It is happening. This is the way life is showing up. And the ego insists on arguing with life, which will always continue to make you unhappy, not just for now, but for the rest of your life. But if you can stop and catch this precious moment, you will see that you're getting upset because things aren't happening the way you want them to. And now you've got the opportunity to change this feeling by stepping back into your awareness. And that's where your freedom is. And that's what the 30-second rule is really all about. Your emotional freedom. Because when you stop arguing with life and the way it's showing up, you stop suffering. You don't have to like it, but you have to accept it. This is what it is. And I saw this pattern very clearly with my mom. You see, it wasn't really the words themselves that bothered me. It was that she wasn't the mother I wanted her to be. She wasn't the mother I thought she should be, even though she did some pretty wonderful things for me that I'll always be grateful for. So when I finally accepted that she could only be who she was at that time in her life, I began to feel compassion for her and for me. And the next time she called me baby doll, it didn't bother me at all. That's the 30-second rule in real life. And now, many years later, I try to live by this as often as I can. And I happen to think that's why I have more happy days than most. Not because I don't have challenges, but because I've stopped waiting for life to go my way before I can be happy. So the 30-second rule isn't about stifling your feelings. It's basically this. Go ahead and have whatever negative feeling you have for 30 seconds. And then realize that after those 30 seconds, you're only upset because things aren't going the way you want them to, or people aren't being the way you want them to be. And as much as I resisted believing that in the beginning, it's so true. And if you practice being aware of this, you're going to find that it's true for you too. But you know something? I don't usually get to that good feeling place in 30 seconds. And that's okay. And if you don't do it in 30 seconds, you haven't failed. You're not expected to do it in that amount of time. That's why it's a rule of thumb, not a strict rule. So if you can do it in 5 or 10 minutes, wow, holy cow. I mean, that's real progress. But here's the greatest lesson I've learned from this practice. I've learned that this 30-second rule gives me the opportunity to make one of the biggest decisions of my life, and that is this. Am I going to choose to be happy or not? Because that's what it really comes down to. You're either going to hang on to something and feel unhappy, or you're going to let it go and find the peace and happiness that are waiting for you. So the next time you're bothered by something, and yes, you have a right to be bothered, I'm not taking that away from you, but take the time to ask yourself, why am I bothered by this? And you will always find it's because something isn't going the way you prefer. That doesn't mean you're approving of someone's behavior, or that you don't care, or that you have to be happy about it. It simply means that you've made the decision that your peace and your happiness matter more than holding on to something you can't control. That's the beauty of using our awareness. It gives you back your power to choose peace, no matter what's happening around you. So if this idea of the 30-second rule speaks to you, if you're ready to stop letting your ego steal your joy, leave me a comment below. And of course, like and subscribe, because when you do, YouTube can now send my videos out to more people. So I would appreciate your support in that way. And if you like this video on the 30-second rule, make sure you watch my video on the what if technique that teaches you a way to diminish fear and worry in your life so you can be happier and take it easy on yourself. So until our next time together, remember, always remember, there really is no one worth knowing more than you.